Messages for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. This awareness indicates that essentially entities can be given the same message again and again and again, even as entities play the same record over and over and over, enjoying the record because they fully know what is coming next. This awareness indicates there are many entities, a majority of entities, who do not wish to hear anything but what they have heard before. This awareness indicates that the messages which this awareness channels through this interpreter are not intended for the approval of the masses. They are intended to make entities aware and to grow and to develop. This awareness indicates that these messages may not become widely accepted by the masses for several hundred years. This awareness indicates, however, that were it to simply repeat the same old material which was given 2,000 years ago or 4,000 years ago, it would be wasting its time. For that message has already been given, and the entities who have heard that message know the message forward and backward, and it is nothing other than entertainment for them to reinforce their own feelings that they have the answers. This awareness is attempting to give entities something more to think about, something more to consider. This awareness indicates it has presented much information which is new and unusual in comparison to the old messages, which have been given over and over and over by thousands and thousands and thousands of others during the hundreds of years in the past. This awareness indicates that the messages which it gives deals with ways of looking at life, ways of looking at the old programmings. The messages it gives are intended to help entities to learn to think in original ways, to examine, to question, and to become aware. This awareness indicates that it is not simply intending to reinforce the old messages. Be good, don't be bad. This awareness indicates this as a message for 2-year-olds, and this awareness is not addressing 2-year-olds. This awareness is addressing those entities who are looking for that information which will lead them toward higher states of awareness. This awareness indicates that the messages which were given through Edgar Cayce were appropriate for that time, considering that they did include much information which was relatively shocking for those entities of the past, wherein reincarnation had not yet been introduced to the United States or to much of the Western world, wherein concepts which were discussed in the Cayce readings, such as Atlantis and ancient Egypt, these concepts being those which were never discussed or taught in schools to any degree. This awareness indicates, therefore, the message of be good, don't be bad were acceptable, because this was something that entities could attach themselves to and identify with, even while they were accepting the new information, which was unusual and perhaps difficult to understand. This awareness indicates, however, that presently it is time to move on to other concepts. This awareness indicates that it is obvious that entities should not be bad. This awareness indicates that this is so obvious that it needs not be discussed continually. This awareness indicates, however, that it is also obvious that there are certain things in life which are harmful to others and need to be pointed out. This awareness indicates that wherein a father tells a child, "Be careful crossing the street, you might get run over," the father would feel quite shocked if the child said, "Dad, don't be so negative." This awareness indicates that, therefore, the concern about the negative or positive values of these entities is of little concern to this awareness. What is of concern is that entities become aware of all that is occurring so that they can better be equipped to respond from an aware position rather than from a pre-programmed, assumed state of reality which, in fact, is not in touch with reality at all. This awareness indicates that the entities who are incapable of understanding simply may remain in the level of consciousness where they are. This awareness does not wish to solicit grade school level of development for college or high school level of messages. This awareness indicates that those who are ready to graduate may do so, but those who are not need not concern themselves with this. This awareness indicates that during the life of Edgar Cayce, there were few entities who actually appreciated or understood the messages. There were far more who were critical of these messages. This awareness indicates that, likewise, the same attitude exists today, that it is always much easier to promote the works of those who are no longer around than to promote the works of those who are presently producing. This awareness indicates that this is part of the reason why entities prefer to not attach themselves to the cosmic awareness communications messages. This awareness indicates that entities prefer to attach themselves to those messages which have been tried and tested and have proven successful in the world of business. This awareness indicates that if cosmic awareness communications had a large skyscraper or large piece of property wherein entities could come and see the foundation, rub their hands and say, yes, this is a successful place, it surely must have a meaning to its message. The prosperity indicates that the messages must be paying off. This awareness indicates wherein this kind of foundation could be pointed at, then entities would be more inclined to say that the messages are obviously correct. This awareness indicates that entities always prefer to jump on the bandwagon where prosperity shines than to become involved in the actions of those who are building the bandwagon. This awareness indicates there are very few Americans today who, without hindsight of history, would put themselves in a position to give any support to the founding fathers of this country, for such entities would not wish to risk getting involved in something so uncertain as a rebellion against Britain, whereby they might get themselves hung as traitors or rebels by signing the Declaration of Independence. This awareness indicates there are very few today who, in a situation such as that, would care to risk their security for such an action. This awareness indicates, however, there are very few today in the United States who would give up their place on the bandwagon which was created by these founding fathers